segmentation there. We'll cut out a quick path for Sonic to run across. That way everything isn't so flat and we actually have topology going on. Cut another path out really quickly here. Well, the other half of the same path. And then we can select this, hit the extrude button again. Actually, let's not use extrude, let's use bevel. We can pull this down to a relatively small height, inline it, and there you very quickly and easily have some rolling slopes. Of course, most of this modeling here is just up to your creative drive, but I always try to sketch the level out beforehand. Obviously I didn't do that in this one because I went into it with a preconceived notion of what I wanted to make, but you'll generally find that it's a lot easier to decide what to do next when you have predetermined the entire level layout. And we can add some small things in here, like we'll move this back. And now I'll cut a neat little cove in here. Now, of course, if you ever want to realize, how big does this cove need to be, we just move our Sonic scale reference to where we are. And I can zoom in now and oh, holy shit, that kind of a big hole. So what we'll do is we'll keep ignore back facing on because we do in fact have a wall directly facing us that we would otherwise normally be cutting. And now I can inset this just like we did before. No, not inset, bevel. Give it a negative height. Not so small amount. Zoom in on that, move your gizmo to drop it down to the floor. And there you go. And say you wanted to keep going with this, we extrude again. It should be about 69. Yeah, go by local normal for that one. Or not. There we go. Bring that down and you have your little explorable cove. Toss an item box in there or something. And another neat little trick about using editable polys is edge looping. With the third button in, the border tool, we can click this and very quickly we can sort of create these interesting trim details. And go back. That one's not turning out quite the way I wanted it to. We'll go positive with the extrusion height. There we go. Now negative. And this is a very similar technique to what I used for building Ice Cap, if you've played that recently. So it is kind of going to look the same at first. We'll move our box scale out of the way. And since it is in fact a Sonic level, we should probably add a Green Hills style level, no less. We'll extrude this a little bit more, except not like that, so we can stop being failures. There we go. Delete that. Take our scale reference and move it to where we need it. We're going to add sort of a little, we're going to add a bridge and water hopping sequence here. So I'm going to take the floor, extrude it downwards once, twice. There we go. And now we've cut out the area that we are going to have our water sequence in. Now you can just barely jump out of this the way it is. Actually, we should make that so you just barely can't jump out of it. There we go. A little bit more than 40. And we shouldn't be able to get out of this now. Casual gameplay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude these a little bit more, and these have now become stairs. However, the floor still goes beyond them for no reason whatsoever, no apparent reason. So we will just delete them. Get rid of them, don't need them, and then we can quickly recreate those using the proper vertices. Actually, you know what? Let's see if there's a better tool for that. So it'll actually do that the way we wanted. No, we're just gonna have to go with that. Delete those faces. The floor looks awfully bare now. And we will recreate them. Or not. Doesn't seem to, oh, I didn't delete those back faces first, that's why. There we go. And now we can use the Create tool to quickly recreate these faces. We can even these faces out here just a little bit. And then we'll be extruding just a little bit more to add the end to our sequence. There we go. Of course, just to make really sure we can't jump out of there, pull these faces down. Although sometimes in Sonic Adventure you have to realize that using a spin jump on an angular surface will effectively turn any place into a shortcut. So if you're at a critical junction where level paths intersect each other, across each other, try to avoid really steep inclines in the level geometry, or you'll turn an otherwise difficult level into a 10-second challenge. If anyone remembers Ice Cap in the original game, that's sort of what happened there. Of course, these we can target weld these worries away really quickly. We'll just... there we go. Again, just like before, if you are going to make something challenging that you can't just jump past, convex surfaces are generally, concave surfaces are generally the best method of achieving this goal. It prevents a lot of sort of aggressive gameplay, sometimes if you're lucky. I'm sure you're seeing harrowing parallels to Ice Cap at this point. All the way down to the cheesy water jump section. You should probably just toss some Ice Cap textures on this and call it the next half of the level. Alright, our slice plane is 90 degrees perpendicular to what we want, so we're going to have to go this way. There we go. Slice and slice. Yay, more segmentation. For some reason, not all of the new segments went through. We can fix that by creating these edges using the Edge Create tool. Apparently that edge doesn't want to be made. You can always deselect everything by pressing Control D. I find this to be very useful when running into interface problems and such. Sometimes 3D Studio will get stuck in a quasi-selective mode where your cursor will indicate that you can select things and you can't, or the cursor will indicate that you have a selection and it turns out to be impossible to clear said selection. And again, we'll just add some random sort of rock face kind of textures going on here. This obviously deserves more attention, but it's just a video tutorial, so I'm sure you'll get the message that this is not in fact a rock face, just a poorly approximated facsimile of such. And we'll just make the other side look not as boring. There we go. Not as pronounced either. Looks like more of our faces did not get built properly, or not faces, edges, sorry. We will reconstruct those edges now. Select these vertices, bring them down. Again, this is all really modular and quick level design. I used this in Ice Cap because at the time the exporting tools were very limited to what you could make quickly, at least. I mean, you could in theory make anything, but exporting what you made took hours. I mean, you used to have to split each level piece apart, export it by texture, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. And there's some trouble spots back here in our level design. We'll zoom in on those. Any small inclines near the edge of a level is going to lead the player to believe they can interact there, or just potentially trap them. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these edges